I'm Tammy Potter, and welcome to the Pregnancy Process Podcast, a show designed to help you navigate the hugely transformative journey to motherhood, where you'll hear the unique experience of experts in this area and the incredible stories of women sharing their conception, pregnancy, and postnatal journeys so that you can have a healthier, more informed pregnancy. And in today's episode, we're talking to Patty Peredes. Patty is the founder of Bebe Active, a business dedicated to making the Snoo smart bassinet accessible to all families and all new parents. Patty also works in the health and wellbeing space as a Pilates teacher and holds a degree in physical education teaching. And don't let her soft feminine appearance fool you. Patty is a secret ninja, having participated in competition-level martial arts. And we can't forget she's also the mum of twin girls, which is probably her hardest but most rewarding hat that she's worn to date. And that's saying something considering she's a black belt in karate. And today we're going to be talking about what life is really like being the mum of twin girls. We'll talk body image and the pressures women feel to return to their pre-baby bodies, especially in industries like the health and wellbeing industry. And of course, we'll talk all things Snoo smart bassinet technology. Patty, thank you so much for your time today. It's great to have you with us. And I think if it's okay with you, let's start talking about the twins and your journey with them, because I kind of feel like this is the thread that kind of ties it all together. So let's talk about, how your pregnancy experience was. I know that you had a C-section and you were aiming for a natural labor or a vaginal birth.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that you had them during COVID. So let's talk about, how, and I don't know if we're allowed to talk about COVID these days, but I'd really like to know how that kind of impacted your experience as a new mum. So let's kind of start with that. So is that all right with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great. So let's talk about how your pregnancy experience was.
I think I was one of the lucky ones that I absolutely loved being pregnant. I felt great and I loved looking at myself and just seeing the girls growing and growing. But also it ties up that I had a really beautiful pregnancy. I had no pain, no complications. I was training until the last time. I was training with you.
Yes. For those that don't know, I trained Patty all the way through her pregnancy. Well, most of the way through it anyway. Yeah.
Yes. I really wanted a trainer to support me, not only emotionally, but just to be there for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that time is so vulnerable. And even though I could have done it myself, you want someone there. You definitely want someone there to be guiding you through. So I had a brilliant pregnancy and I ended up having a C-section, which is okay. I did everything possible to have a vaginal birth, but it just didn't work out for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you had them during COVID. I mean, how did that impact your experience? I mean, I know a lot of women did, I know everyone kind of struggled through that time, especially with all the lockdowns and everything. How did you find that impacted your experience?
I feel maybe the social part got really impacted. When you are pregnant, they sort of put you into groups where you have your mother's groups, and then you sort of go through the process together. So you can lean into someone who is going through the same as you, which is kind of crucial. But with COVID, that sort of didn't happen. We had an option to do a Zoom, and I was like, I don't have the brain for this. I'm not going to join any group that is in Zoom. So I felt that it was a little bit lonely, to be honest, not having my family here and just being my husband and I. Definitely his support was incredible, but yeah, I did have a bit of a difficult fourth trimester.
Mm-hmm.
I felt lonely. I think I probably had a bit of sort of postnatal depression. But through my husband and his support, and he was just really pushing me through, I think I got out of that stage very quickly. But yeah, it was difficult. It wasn't easy. And I'm so glad that COVID is sort of a little bit in the past and women can go through the normal experience, because you need your thrive, and you find those women once you all sort of, they put you together and you can connect with people, and then you ask silly questions like, hey, is my baby's doing this? Is that okay? Is that normal? Like, you know, we all go through the same, and it's just kind of nice. So I'm glad that women now have that, and yeah, they don't have to do it themselves and be by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely an advocate for connection, especially during pregnancy and that early postnatal period. I'm like massive. And there's so many studies have been done around the effects of like pregnancy, loneliness and, you know, mental health and that type of thing.
It is already a very hard process and lonely already as it is. So then to be completely isolated just makes it really hard.
Yeah, I definitely know you're not the only one that experienced that through that time.
Totally not.
I've spoken to a number of women that had that similar experience. So now, most people that know me, and this is like, we're going to kind of start talking about Snoo here, because like most people that know me know that I'm a complete nutter when it comes to sleep. I'm obsessed, you know, so I'm a huge kind of sleep advocate. And I know that's probably the one thing that impacts new parents more than anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, from my limited knowledge, when it comes to twin sleep, I understand that it can actually be even more kind of challenging, which is what, like when it comes to twins and their sleep schedules and stuff like that, which is why scheduling is even more important. Like, what did you do to kind of help in your girls' early sleep training journey?
Okay, so I'm going to just do a brush through, because we started with this Snoo from day one. We heard about this Snoo, someone recommended to us, and my husband started researching. We're like, sounds good. We don't have anyone here. And there is a pair of hands that we don't have. And having 2 newborns, we were like, we need this. Like, we need extra help. So we got this Snoo. We started, I wouldn't say sleep training, but sort of having them into a schedule as soon as we got home. I'm like you. I'm like, I need my sleep. And even though the first 6 weeks are a feed on demand, it's not much that you can do. After that, you really want to have them. If one wake up, I'm so sorry, sweetheart, you also waking up. Like, we have to do this all together as a team. There is not one staying behind. If one wakes up, the other one wakes up. And then slowly they just go into this routine where they would just do things together. And was like, oh, that's easy. Now they're waking up at the same time. They're going to bed at the same time.
Are you serious? So if one of them woke up, you'd wake up the other
Absolutely,
one?
yes.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. So is that what they say? Is that what they say you should do when it comes to sleep?
Yes. Because you know, especially if you're breastfeeding, you know, your babies, it can take up to an hour to breastfeed them. So if you think about it, if you breastfeed only one while the other one's sleeping, by the time I finish with that little baby and I put it to bed and I take the next one, I'm going to be there for 2 hours, if not more.
Yeah,
and then every 2 to 3 hours, they're going to wake up again. So when are you sleeping or having a little rest? So for us, it was crucial that we have to do things together. And I was lucky that I was able to breastfeed them, both of them at the same time. So we made everything, the process is slightly little faster for us. But yeah, that's basically what you have to do. If one wakes up, the other one has to wake up as well.
So you had them in the snooze from pretty much
from day one.
They got home, right?
From day one, yeah.
And before we talk about your business, I mean, besides from my clients raving about snooze, I actually don't know much about them. You know, like I've kind of had clients show me the app and I'm like, okay, like if you know what I mean, like I understand that they're bassinets and they connect to the smartphone and they've got an app and all that kind of thing, but I don't know much more about them. Like, so can you give me a little bit more information about why everyone is raving about them so much? Like, what's all the fuss about?
All right. So when you're pregnant, your babies are inside, they're in constant movement because you're moving. So they're always being moved, you know, up and down, side to side, even though you don't realize that this is happening. But also the hearing is so amazing that they can listen to everything that's happening outside of their womb. And people don't realize that. So people always think about, have the baby, everything's quiet. You're like, no. They are used to this noise. You just don't know about it. So what this Snoo does, it just soothes the baby and then just rocks the baby all night. and it simulates the womb noises. So when you put the baby down, it starts rocking them. And if your baby start crying, the Snoo will pick up the crying or the stress of the baby, and it will change the speed and also the noises that's making.
And how does it, I know how smart technology gets to know you better over time.
Mm-hmm.
How does it understand that from the beginning? How does it understand how stressed your baby is to adapt its noises?
That's actually a very interesting question. When I started this journey, I had a sleep consultant who sent me paperwork, and it was a reading to try to understand the baby's crying. And I was like, this can't be right. Like, the baby cries and it just cries. What do you mean I can understand what they want? So I started paying attention on the actual paperwork that she gave me and the noise that the girls were making when they were stressed. And I was like, oh my God, this actually makes sense. So I guess they are already trained to start knowing. Obviously, the smart bastard won't know your baby had a poo or they're hungry, but they do gonna start listening to the pitch of the baby crying.
So it's got to do with the pitch.
It has to do with the pitch. Yeah.
Right.
So how stressed the baby is from something that is just very small, I'm uncomfortable complaining, to like, I need your attention right now. So the Snoo will tell you in the app that your baby is stressed. They do give you a guidance between 3 to 5 minutes. If your baby hasn't settled with the rocking, it will go faster. And if they start not working, the Snoo will stop, and it will just go into a red light and send you a message to your phone and asking for immediate attention to your baby. So I don't think there's any parents out there that actually just let them keep crying. As a mother or as a father, you do go and see what's happening. But the beauty of this thing, where people is like, is this how it works? I'm like, yes, this is how it works. So we used to live in an apartment with 2 floors, and we'll put the girls to bed. We'll go downstairs to have dinner, and we'll literally just starting to have dinner. It'll be like, oh, one of the girls woke up. So by the time we'll go upstairs, and before we open the door, they were already quiet because this Snoo has started soothing them. And we were like, oh, I don't have to go inside. They're okay. And I'll go downstairs and finish my dinner. Where normally, if you don't have this, you have to go there, pick up the baby and, shush them in or out. There's nothing wrong with that. But to have that extra pair of hands and make sure that your baby is okay, they probably just will come away a little bit uncomfortable and then going back to bed without you have to be interfering. I think just as beauty as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, I can see your light. So, I mean, it makes sense to me, right? Like, it's kind of like in my head when I think about that, because eventually you're going to have to sleep train them anyway, where they have to kind of self-soothe. So it's almost like I kind of see this as it's almost preparing the parents a little bit for not always having to be there straight away when the babies start kind of grizzling or whatever. Yeah. And so it's almost like a training of the parent as well as the baby.
Absolutely.
At the same time.
It is the hardest part to allow the baby to soothe themselves. It doesn't mean leave the baby crying. This is something that people really gets wrong. It is not leave your baby crying. It is giving them a moment for them to soothe themselves.
Right.
And it's just a little bit when allow the technology to help you, really. And there's nothing wrong with them. And also, it's not that you're not going to create connection with your baby. That is not the case. When the baby is awake, you are with them. You spend time with them. You do skin to skin. You do tummy time. The connection is not going to go. You breastfeed them. It's just that moment when you really need to rest. So you can give the best of yourself when they're awake again. So you can rest. It's allowing the bed to do the job, which I think is amazing.
Yeah. So are you finding that and I can see how people, some people are still a little bit scared of technology, and especially when it comes to their most precious thing in the entire world, which is, their child. I can see how some people would be a little bit resistant when it comes to using technology to help settle their baby, or they might think that it's doing them harm. What's your kind of what would you say to someone, like, let's say I was a little bit hesitant about using technology to help in this very kind of, I guess it's kind of a bit of a fragile time, and I think during that time, so many new mums are a little bit like, I guess,
Totally.
hesitant and like bit walking on eggshells anyway. Like, what would you say to new mums that are kind of in a bit of two camps about technology? Like, what would you say to them?
I feel like that comes into, I'm not reinventing the wheel. This is a smart bassinet not created by me. It was created by a pediatrician. It won an award in the US. So it's an amazing product that also, it will help and it will secure that your baby doesn't roll over. And, the accidents happen where they stop breathing and you probably sleep and you don't realize. But if you think about it, like, technology has the good and bad, I get it. But at the end of the day, like, how much technology you use every day? Everything that you use is technology, absolutely everything. And if you take your baby to the doctor and they get an exam and they get the vaccinations, everything's by creating by technology. Like, it is the world that we live in. There is nothing wrong with that. It's been tested. There's many research that you can find online about the bed. And, we also give the parents an option. When do you sign up for the rental programs? You can always just have it for a month, see if you like it or not. Turn it on and off. It has different functions. So you can even have the bassinet on without the rocking motion and just having the white noise.
Right.
Is that what you want and you want to stay there? You're going to stay there. You want to start using the rocking motion and see if that's something that you might like for the rest of the night for the baby. Do it. There's another application that you can just have it completely still, but once the baby cries, it will start rocking the baby. So it won't do it unless the baby's crying. So there's so many little things that you can try, and until you feel secure and you feel comfortable having your baby there. Also, you're not having your baby in the other room, it's right next to you. If anything happen, you're right next to your baby. You need to have your baby with you at least until 6-7 months in your own room. So yeah.
So did you say that if the baby rolls over, it can alert you? Did you just say that?
No. So because the bed is completely secure, it won't actually turn on unless the little sacks have two little hooks that they connect to the bed. That means that when the baby's being rocked, it won't be able to move from there.
Right.
You don't have the Snoo, you have that potential rolling over from the baby while they're asleep.
Wow. Okay. So it's actually got kind of, what are they on the side of them?
There's little clips that they go and they clip into the bassinet. And once that's clipped, you can turn it on. If that is not secure clip, the bassinet will not turn on.
Right. And that when it's rocking, it won't let the baby roll over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's even safer than, because obviously SIDS and stuff.
It's even safer. Even if you don't have your baby being rocked, it is safer because you still can use the clips and just have the white noise. You won't be scared that your baby might roll over at nighttime while you're having a little sleep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's quite amazing, isn't it? So, so it does like rock your baby. It helps rock your baby. It can you can use white noise. You can use it in combination. You can do all kinds, got all different types of settings.
All different types of settings. Yeah.
Okay. And so, I mean, in terms of pricing, I know, because I don't really know, all I've heard is that they are quite expensive. Is that?
They are quite expensive. Yeah.
What's an average price in Australian dollars?
About $2,500.
Okay, so that's like $2,500.
$100, yeah.
Probably close to, how much is that in the US? That would be, close to like
$1,700, about $1,700.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's quite a significant investment. So I can see why you would be inspired to help bring this kind of technology to all families or have it accessible. I can understand that. But can you tell me what is it that inspired you to start this business? And let's maybe talk a little bit about your business, because, you know, I've mentioned it, but we haven't really spoken about it too much. So what kind of inspired you to start Bebe Active? And let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Right. So Bebe Active started as a brand, just it means baby in Spanish. So some people don't really get it. I always work with females since I started in the fitness industry. And I did a couple of, you know, prenatal courses because I had some women coming through and they were getting pregnant. And then I was just doing coaching and online coaching. Then I sort of tweak a little bit the brand to start doing some luxury baby rentals. And we just focus on this Snoo at this point. Why we started this, I feel like when the girls were born, and I don't know if it maybe was a combination between the COVID, the, you know, postnatal depression, I feel so vulnerable, but at the same time, you know, we had no help, and just having an extra breath during the day while the girls weren't being looked after by this technology, that just gave me like peace of mind. It gave me an extra hour to maybe just lay down and do nothing, or meditate, or do a little bit of movement. And I felt, well, it's such an expensive thing to have at home. You only use it for 6 months. After that, the baby goes into a cot, no matter what. So I thought, why don't you just give this to more people? Like, let's just make it more available. And all started because when I was into this postnatal bubble, I thought about selling them. I was like, I'm just going to sell them. I don't know what to do with them. They have two at home. So we gave one away. And the second one got rented by someone else who texted me through a friend asking me if I wanted to rent it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I am going to rent it. Why not? I have no brain to think about even selling this right now. So you can take it. And that Snoo didn't come back for 2 years. And for 2 years, it just got rented by someone else, from another friend to another friend. And once it got back to my hands, I realized that I had something going on in here. And also I was just renting them. I was just helping moms with my own experience and telling them what worked for me, what didn't work. I spent quite a lot of money because I needed the help with a sleep consultant. I'm all huge in sleep, and I knew that the girls, the more sleep they had, the better they will do in their development, and, you know, setting a good standard for the rest of their lives. So I think I'd learned quite a lot just through on experience, and then asking the sleep consultants, and, you know, try and error what works, what doesn't work. So I actually quite enjoy helping the mums in that. Maybe one of the most important part of their lives once they become mums. It's such a special place to be, but also very fragile. So it's almost like I wish I had that for me, like someone else being there for me, going, oh, I know you. I've been there. This worked for my baby, and I have this beautiful bed that you can use. And yeah, I think it started a little bit from there. I like to helping women in general, and I felt that could be an amazing gift to, you know, give someone else the experience and the help. There's so many people here that don't have a family either.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my head, I'm like, wow, that person that got gifted the Snoo, they're super lucky. I wonder if they've done the same thing with it. I really hope that they have, actually. I hope that that's kind of been re-gifted on. That would be
Probably
a nice way to think of it. I'd like to think that your gift has been re-gifted on, so other people have been able to benefit from that. So I hope that's what happened with that. But let's talk about your vision for the future for the Snoo business, because I mean, I think it's fantastic. You are actually making a piece of technology that's so helpful, but it is a huge expense, and it's now accessible to more people. So let's talk, what is your vision for the future, and how do you see what you're doing helping women the most?
As you said before, I think fundamentally is the sleeping. If you are able to rest, you're able to give the best version of yourself to others, to your family, to your friends, to your kids.
Yeah.
So my vision is to expand, be able to open this in different cities, and, you know, hopefully just have mums helping me to build this business, because once you've been through that, you're able to connect with that vulnerable state with someone else easier. And yeah, just we want to expand. We're going to have more cities open. We're going to be able to have some mums helping us to deliver the Snoo and train more people about it. And yeah, just
That's
help
amazing.
more families around.
I can't wait to see how this all goes. That's really exciting. So I think if there's nothing else that you would like to talk about when it comes to this Bebe Active and the Snoo business, I'd like to talk a little bit about body image, and how, you know, your twin pregnancy has maybe changed the way that you view your body, or the relationship that you've had with it. Would you be okay to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. But before we do, I'm dying to know about your martial arts experience. Can you tell me a little bit about that, please? Because you are actually a secret ninja and you don't talk about this very often.
That's why my kids listen to me.
I'm pretty sure that's probably why your husband does as well.
He's scared. Okay, I started this journey when I was about 12, I believe so. It's a bit of a funny story. Basically, my cousin wanted to go there and I was like, I am not going to do karate. We can go and do some volleyball or basketball, but like, why do we have to do karate? She really wanted to go and I said, all right, let's go. I'll go with you. So we went for like 2 weeks and she absolutely hated it. She was like, I'm not coming back here. This is terrible. And I was like, I love it. This is amazing. Just a bit of a stress relief. And I don't know, I didn't actually knew that I enjoy hitting something so much. I was like, this is great. I love it. All about it.
Yeah.
So I started doing karate. I competed for the national selection in Chile for 5 years. And then I moved to Australia and I had to stop training for a little bit until I was able to have my feet on the ground and, you know, find a dojo to go and train. I continued training. I wasn't able to go into a more elite level just because my commitments in Australia were staying here. And that means a lot of effort, a lot of work. So I couldn't really commit my time to do anything else with karate, but I continued training. I stopped training actually when I got pregnant, just because of COVID, nothing else, not because I was pregnant.
Right. Okay. That's excellent. I mean, you strength trained all the way through your pregnancy anyway, and did your Pilates. So
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So you are a black belt, aren't you, in karate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that just blows my mind. I think it's so cool. But as someone who's obviously, I mean, listen, if to compete at a national level and to, I guess, continue doing a sport, I think you can call it a sport. You know, you've obviously always been extremely athletic. You've always been really in control of your body because you have to have amazing control over your body to be able to do that type of thing. I mean, how did you navigate the kind of physical and psychological aspect around the effects of a twin pregnancy on your body? I mean, there is a total lack of control over what your body's doing this time. You know, like
Absolutely.
how did you navigate that?
I actually did a meditation course when I was probably about 19 weeks pregnant. And that was the best thing that I could ever done before I actually had the twins. I just started practicing meditation and what I just focused on was just gratitude. I am so grateful I've got this opportunity. So grateful I got, you know, pregnant naturally and I had twins waiting for me. Grateful what my body's done for me and what it's doing for my babies. So yeah, it is a constant reminder because we live in this aesthetic world where everyone has to look amazing and have massive glutes and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a constant reminder of like, what have my body has been through, and give it to me and my girls. And I actually had a conversation with my husband probably a week ago, because my C-section is quite small and almost like very little. And he said, you know, it's so tiny, you can laser it if you want it gone. And I was like, why would I do that? It's a reminder what I've been through and how my beautiful girls were born. I don't want it gone. It's part of me and our history. It will stay there. So yeah, I think just gratitude, being very grateful what I have.
So I guess that probably answers one of my questions, which was, are there any tools that you've used, and like practicing gratitude? And from my knowledge, because as most of you have heard, I did train Patty through her pregnancy. So you did a Vedic meditation course, is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And that's also the type of meditation that I practice, and I'm very, very invested in, let's say, like the sleep. So can you just talk a little bit about how having the twins has kind of changed your relationship with your body, or has it changed the way that you kind of view your body in any way?
I think it changed from, I have to look after what I eat and you know, have a certain image of how it look, to like even track my macros, to be more open, I will say. I started just paying more attention of things that fulfill myself and my family, rather than how do I need to look. You know, when you wake up in the morning, your kids don't care how you look. They're happy just to see you. When you go outside, people don't really care how you look. It's all here. It's on your mind. You think about how people want, you know, you to look and act, but it's really, you're responsible for how you feel and how you present yourself to the world. Nobody else is responsible, but we always think about others in that specific topic. What would they think if I turn up and I do a Pilates session and I have still a belly from my pregnancy? Well, that's how it is. That's what my body did for me. And I'm proud of that. It took me a long time, but I'm not going to lie to you. It took me a long time. I will think about, maybe I need to start going to a diet again. You know, obviously my full skin stretch, not as much as I expected somehow. But I still have a little bit loose skin, and I'm like, well, that's part of who I am right now, and that's okay.
So you're saying that it did take you a little bit of time to get to that.
Oh yeah.
Place. Yeah. I mean, so how much pressure, you know, have you felt to get your body back? Bounce back, you know, like, I mean, there is
bounce back.
You know, that's one of the things that I see so much, is that the pressure that women put on themselves to kind of get their body back or to bounce back. And, you know, I think a lot of that comes from the media, and how all of these like 30-day ab challenges and, you know, postnatal, get your postnatal body back. And I think as coaches, this is a big thing for me. I think as coaches, we have a massive responsibility to make sure that when we're looking after women in all aspects and focusing on more than just the aesthetic side of things when we are coaching them. And I could probably go off on a whole other tangent with that. And I know you and I could probably talk about that. But like, in terms of the pressure that you felt, like you just mentioned being in a Pilates class and like taking a Pilates class and having a bit of a belly. And, you know, is that something that you felt like being in front of a class and having a bit of a postnatal belly? Did you feel pressure to look a certain way?
Yes, I totally did. Yeah.
Yeah.
More than actually teaching Pilates, because it's a bit of a different concept. It's not as much as weight loss, but having online clients that they are looking to lose weight or put on muscle and have a aesthetic goal in mind. For me, it was like, how do I make them understand that I can help them, even though I don't look the way they want to look or they admire to, right? Be like, well, how do I help this person to understand that I can still help them, even though I have a belly right now, or, you know, I still carry extra weight from my pregnancy. But again, I think just going back to, I am responsible the way I feel. That's probably was a constant for me. I am responsible the way I feel. My body just gave me an amazing miracle. You need to be grateful. Like literally, I will say that to myself maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Every time I feel uncomfortable, be like, you have to be grateful. These women, they can't have kids. And I was able to have kids, and not 1, 2. So I just constantly, and I just shut up the noise. White noise, put a plug in here, and I just really focus in the bubble of my family, my friends, the people that care about me. You know, and having people like yourself and my side that would constantly remind me of the same thing, it really helps. You need people around you that are supporting you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everything that you're saying is definitely, it resonates with me, which is, you can see why I wanted to talk to you about this, because, you know, we're so aligned on so many of these things. You know, like I practice meditation, like Vedic meditation, you know, the whole self-responsibility. I think we should really be practicing self-responsibility when it comes to how we view ourselves and how we like deal with our emotions, like the obsession with sleep, you know, the training, all of that kind of thing. So I think, and also the gratitude, because you know, there've been so many studies done around the effects or the positive effects of meditation, of gratitude. And I think it's something that I even remind my clients to do, you know, if they, and I think we live in such a fast-paced society where people are constantly just moving forwards and striving for the next thing, and they don't take that time to just stop, take a breath, and look at all of the amazing things that they've been able to achieve with. And it's, I think, especially when it comes to mums, like being grateful for what their body has done and what it's delivered them, you know, rather than looking back to what it was previously. I think that's really important.
Totally. I used to track my macros every day. I haven't done it for almost 3 years now. And, you know, I'm proud of that. And I'm not saying what you do if you track your macros is wrong. Not. What I'm saying is, like, for me, that was not the right mindset to be grateful for what my body's done for me. Tracking the macros or going straight to a diet, that's not the way to go through the whole postnatal. And, you know, I don't know if you already mentioned, but we had discussion before, a postnatal is not 6 weeks. You're not done in 6 weeks. You're not done in 3 months. You're done in a year. If you done the whole rehab correctly, you could be done in a year, but postnatal is not 6 weeks. No. And I think people need to change that and remind themselves of that.
So if there was, I think, you know, you and I could probably talk for ages, but I know that, speaking of sleep, the girls are probably going to be getting up sometime soon. So if there was one thing that you wish that all women knew before they had a baby, what would it be? Can you put it down to one thing? Or
I'm going to share this because I think it's hilarious. And I was like, why nobody told me about this? I am so upset.
I can't wait.
And it's super private, but you know, I'm an open book right now. Who cares? I remember being super pregnant, and I don't think it will happen to every woman. Just so don't be scared. And I found a varicose vein down there. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Why is it there? And when is it going to go away? So I remember going to my obstetrician, absolutely off my mind, going, please tell me this is going to go away. And I'm talking with my husband, if this is not away, I am having a surgery. I'm not keeping this here. Oh my God. I was like, why nobody talked? And obviously my doctor was super nice and he reassured me. He was like, Patty, this is just the pressure of the babies. It'll go away. You won't keep this on there. And I was like, yeah, you promised me this. Because it was not also aesthetically horrible, but it was just uncomfortable. Yeah. So the day the girls were born, the day after, everything disappeared.
were you like to the doctor? You were like, "Has it gone? Is it gone?"
No, I went to get a mirror. I was like, I need to check this. This needs to be gone, because if it's not gone before, I got home, I am having a surgery. So I got a mirror and I double checked the situation, and I was so pleased that it was gone. But I could not believe nobody, for all the women I trained, that they've been pregnant, cousins, my auntie, my mom. I mean, hello, people. Let's be more honest with what goes through. I don't care about like, oh, your nipples are gonna grow. Stuff that. I don't care. Like, if it happens, it happens. But like a varicose vein down there, no, that's not okay.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, that's got to do with like the vasodilation and the hormones and the amount of blood flow that's down in that area and everything. So yes, ladies, you heard it here first. It is quite normal and they do go away. So that is amazing. So I think that has brought us to the end of this conversation, even though, have you got anything else that you'd like to speak about in terms of Bebe Active and the Snoo business before we finish up? Is there anything that you'd like them to know?
I guess just to tie it up, there is it's a service. You can find this online. There's very different alternatives. You can start with 1 month, give it a little try, or you can go to 3 months or 6 months rental. And we're super flexible. We're here to help you. We just want to help you. That's my whole mission right now. I just want to help more families to get there. So yeah, all the information is in the website, and we are here to support you through your hardest 3 months, from the first little bit when you have your newbie going home with you.
So do they actually have ongoing support with you? Like if they need help?
Yeah, I normally always in touch with the moms that have rented the Snoo. I want to make sure that they are okay, that they're supported. And even though they might not even know me yet, we can feel the connection, and they know I'm here to support them. And if they have any questions, I'm always in contact. So it's not a drop off and see you later. It's a drop off, send me a message if you need me. I'm here if you want to talk to someone. Yeah,
because I think definitely when it comes to this, it's a delicate time. It's the most transformative time of any woman's life. And the more support that there is out there, the more a woman feels supported, whether it's around her baby's sleep or it's her community and her tribe of people around her. I think it's really important. And the more the more people I talk to, the women that work in this type of area are definitely that women supporting women type of personality. They are quite,
very powerful,
nurturing. They want to help other women through this process, and that's kind of what their purpose almost becomes. I know it's my purpose. And even listening to you talking today about how viewing yourself not looking a particular way, being a Pilates teacher, not so much the Pilates, but the online coach that is helping other women transform, but you don't look a particular way. It's almost, that kind of struck me in terms of, that's how I used to feel when I am a pre and postnatal specialist strength coach that doesn't have children themselves. Like, would people view me as any different, and I think that's kind of a journey that every person that works with other people, or
needs to go through the process.
Industry, they kind of need to go through a process of understanding that coaching people is so much more than aesthetic. And
it's about connections. It's about 100%. Connections.
Yeah.
It's not about how much you know. Obviously, you need to know. You need to know your craft. But at the end of the day, it's the connection you create with another person who are they're going to be the most valuable and the ones that are really going to help them to go through that transformation. That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about connection. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk
Pleasure.
today. I really appreciate it. And so you can find all the information about the Snoo rental at Bebe Active. Is it bebeactive.com? All right, fantastic. And I will pop all of that information down underneath this video. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Love talking to you.
And if you're hearing this message, I want to say a huge thank you, because it means that you've listened to this entire episode. Of course, if you have any questions about the things that we covered in this episode, or want to know more about me or my other projects, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at The Pregnancy Process. For those currently in their conception or pregnancy journey, you can actually apply to join my complimentary but private community, the Preggy Training Crew. And you'll find my community application and social media links in the episode description. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode, I absolutely encourage you to share it with other women just like you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.